Beneath the ocean's endless waves lies a legend that has haunted mankind for over 2,000 years, a mighty empire said to have vanished in a single night, swallowed by the sea itself. Some call it a myth, others call it evidence of a forgotten world. Welcome to my channel, MystiChrono, where history meets mystery, and together, we uncover the hidden truths buried deep within time. Today, we dive into one of the greatest enigmas ever told, the Lost City of Atlantis, myth or reality. The story of Atlantis is one of an ancient utopia. It was an enormous island, larger than Libya and Asia combined. It was populated by a race of demigods led by powerful kings who could trace their origins to none other than Poseidon, the mighty god of the seas and oceans. The Atlanteans made most of that connection, creating an advanced civilization and building enormous cities during a period when the rest of the world was still in the Neolithic. It helped that they lived in a veritable cornucopia, enjoying abundant resources, especially metals, silver, gold, and most importantly, orichalcum, the most precious gold-red metal. As usually happens with those who have too much wealth and power, the Atlanteans wanted more. In their lust for power, this advanced civilization declared war on all the peoples of the Mediterranean Sea. Unsurprisingly, the Atlanteans' mighty navy encountered little resistance and conquered and enslaved most of their technologically inferior neighbors. Yet, in their hubris, the Atlanteans underestimated one Greek city. The people of Athens not only resisted the invaders, but managed to send their would-be conquerors back from whence they came. In the end, Atlanteans fell out of the gods' favor. In a single day and night, Atlantis was destroyed by an earthquake and flood. Once a beacon of culture and civilization, the fabled island vanished under the waves along with all its inhabitants. Our story begins in ancient Greece, around 360 BC. The philosopher Plato, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, described an island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. He spoke of a civilization rich in knowledge, wealth and beauty. A kingdom blessed by the gods, flourishing with golden temples, powerful armies, and wise leaders. A utopia unlike any other, Atlantis. But as time passed, its people became proud, greedy, and corrupt. Their arrogance angered the gods, and in a single catastrophic night, Atlantis sank beneath the waves, never to be seen again. Was Plato warning humanity about moral decay? Or was he recording an ancient memory, a story passed down from survivors of a real disaster? But maybe the story of Atlantis is more than history. Maybe it's a reflection of humanity itself, a civilization that reached its peak only to collapse under the weight of its own pride. It's a warning, echoing through time, that no matter how powerful we become, nature and time, which some will always have the final word. From Rome to the Maya, from the Indus to the modern age, every empire rises and every empire falls. Atlantis could be all of them, and maybe even us. Upon hearing the story of Atlantis, its hubris and its doom, one could be forgiven for trying to place this island on a map. After all, we even have its approximate location, west of the Pillars of Hercules, or the Strait of Gibraltar, as we call it today. This sets the island in the Atlantic Ocean, or as the Greeks called it, Atlantis Thalassa. Yet despite the attempts of generations of explorers and pseudo-scientists to find this mythical place, Atlantis is, first and foremost, a myth. A morality tale invented by one of the brightest minds of ancient Greece, the Athenian philosopher Plato, who lived from the 420s to the 340s BCE. Plato left us the only written account about Atlantis in two of his dialogues, written around 360 BCE, Timaeus and Critias. When reading the story in the broader context of Plato's work in history, Atlantis becomes an elaborate allegory, clearly intended to praise Athenian democracy, but also serve as a warning. During Plato's lifetime, Athens tried and failed to become an empire, engaging in a bloody war with Sparta, known as the Peloponnesian War. Thus, the story of Atlantis was actually about Athens, a morality tale intended to educate young Athenians on the dangers of power and hubris. Just as the Atlanteans became greedy, petty, and morally bankrupt, Athens risked losing the tenets of its cherished democracy and turning into an authoritarian state. The tragic fate of Socrates, Plato's mentor and colleague, put on trial and sentenced to death for corrupting minds of young Athenians, was evidently still fresh in the philosopher's mind. The mystery of Atlantis didn't vanish with Plato. In fact, it only began to grow. For centuries, scholars, explorers, and dreamers searched for its remains. From the Mediterranean to the Atlantic, from the Caribbean to the Arctic, each discovery of a strange ruin or underwater structure sparked the same question: could this be Atlantis? In the Renaissance, maps were drawn showing lost islands across the ocean. In the 19th century, explorers claimed to have found Atlantean inscriptions. And in the 20th century, authors and mystics connected Atlantis to everything from alien technology to ancient global floods. Atlantis became more than just a story. It became a symbol of human curiosity, a bridge between myth and memory. The tale of Atlantis was, first and foremost, an allegory conceived by Plato to warn his contemporaries of the dangers to democracy. But, as is often the case with ancient myths, they are based on a sliver of truth, long-lost historical events immortalized as fanciful tales. The Bronze Age. Collapse and the fall of the Mycenaean civilization were reflected in stories about the Trojan War, told by Homer, while the once mighty Minoan civilization was immortalized in the legend of King Minos, the Labyrinth, and the Minotaur. Incidentally, the Minoan civilization on Crete is one of the prime candidates for Atlantis. Like Plato's mythical Atlanteans, the Minoans possessed a mighty navy, which, at its apex, projected its power all over parts of Greece, the Levant, and Egypt. Then, between 1611 and 1538 BCE, the volcanic island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, came back to life in a massive volcanic eruption, creating catastrophic tsunamis that hit Crete and destroyed the Minoan navy. However, the similarities do not stop here. Minos, the legendary first king of Crete, was considered a son of Poseidon, just like the first king of Atlantis, Atlas. In addition, historical records from Egypt record the devastation that the volcano's eruption brought to Egypt, giving some credence to the story of the Egyptian priest and Solon. While Atlantis remains unproven, science keeps revealing that ancient people were far more advanced than we once thought. Cities like Heracleion in Egypt, Dwarka in India, and Yonaguni in Japan, all once thought to be myths, were later found underwater. If they were real, perhaps Atlantis was too. Maybe Plato's story was a memory passed down from survivors of an ancient disaster. Some geologists point to rising sea levels after the Ice Age, which swallowed vast stretches of land. And maybe even a great empire. Let's look at the leading theories that try to explain where, or what, Atlantis really was. 1. The Santorini, Thera, theory. In the Aegean Sea lies Santorini, once home to the advanced Minoan civilization. Around 1600 BC, a volcanic eruption wiped it out, sending tsunamis across the region and darkening the skies. Archaeologists believe Plato's tale may be a memory of this disaster, a civilization destroyed overnight by the fury of nature. 1. The Azores theory. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, near the Azores Islands, sonar scans have revealed mysterious geometric shapes on the seabed. Some say these could be the foundations of a lost city, a remnant of an ancient continent swallowed by the ocean. 1. The Sahara, Eye of the Desert theory. In Mauritania, Africa, lies the Richat structure, a massive circular formation that matches Plato's description of Atlantis's concentric rings. Its size, proportions, and location all seem uncannily similar. Could Atlantis have been buried, not under water, but under sand? 1. The Antarctic theory. A bold claim suggests Atlantis once existed on the now frozen land of Antarctica, and that the shifting of Earth's crust pushed it southward after a cataclysmic event. While controversial, it reflects humanity's endless search for meaning in the unknown. Yet, there is an even more likely candidate from ancient history, a tragic story that evokes the doom of Atlantis. To make matters more interesting, it happened during Plato's lifetime. The city-state of Helike, located on the shores of northern Peloponnese, was a major, regional, naval power. Its sailors navigated the Mediterranean, establishing colonies in Asia Minor and southern Italy. Unsurprisingly for a maritime power, the city's main deity was none other than Poseidon, whose figure was carved on coins and whose temple was second only to the sanctuary at Delphi. The massive bronze statue of Poseidon was the pride of the citizens and a work of art. Unfortunately, it was also the bringer of doom. When the Ionians requested a copy of the famed statue, the Heliconians refused. Then, on one winter night in 373 BCE, Helike met its doom, mirroring the tragic fate of its legendary counterpart. Without warning, a massive earthquake struck Helike, sending the entire city to the depths of the sea. In one single night, Helike, one of ancient Greece's major powers, disappeared from the face of the earth, along with most of its inhabitants. A massive rescue mission consisting of over 2,000 men failed to retrieve the bodies of the dead or the town's enormous wealth. Centuries after the catastrophe, the submerged ruins of Helike could still be seen. During the Roman Empire, tourists frequently sailed over the site, admiring the ruins of the submerged city. Gradually, the area silted over, and like mythical Atlantis, all traces of the town vanished. Only in the late 20th century was the city rediscovered, offering us an insight into what could have been Plato's inspiration for the legendary story of Atlantis. Science demands evidence, and yet, the Earth's history is filled with mysteries that challenge our understanding. Around 12,000 years ago, near the end of the Ice Age, massive floods reshaped coastlines across the planet. Entire regions were submerged beneath rising seas. Archaeologists have discovered sunken cities such as Dwarka, off the coast of India, Heraklion, near Egypt, Yonaguni, in Japan. Each of these ancient cities lay hidden beneath the ocean for thousands of years. If they existed, could Atlantis have existed too? Perhaps Plato's Atlantis wasn't fiction, but a memory of real civilizations destroyed by time and nature, their ruins scattered across the globe. Even today, the search continues. Advanced sonar, satellites, and deep-sea robots have revolutionized exploration. In 2011, researchers scanning the Spanish coast near Cadiz found formations resembling city walls buried in mudflats. Others turned to the Caribbean, where odd stone structures lie just below the waves. In 2018, a team exploring off the coast of Morocco found symmetrical underwater patterns, sparking fresh debate about whether Plato's story might have roots in reality. And, right in the middle of these discoveries, we pause to remind you that you're watching MystiChrono, where history's greatest riddles are revealed, and the past still whispers its secrets through time. But maybe, Atlantis was never meant to be found. Maybe it was never just a city, but a symbol of human ambition, pride, and downfall. So, what do you believe? Was Atlantis real, a lost empire buried beneath the sea, or just a legend meant to teach us the limits of human power? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between, a blend of memory, myth, and mystery. One thing is certain, the ocean still guards its secrets well. Thank you for watching MystiChrono, where mystery meets history, and where every story hides a deeper truth. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive, and your eyes on the horizon. Thanks for watching my channel MystiChrono.